Donnie, you want to shut that door for me,
Yes,
please?
sir.
Thank you. It's after 1 o'clock. The press has been notified. The chair sees the quorum, so I'm going to call the meeting to order. This morning I got a call from Miss Cindy, and she said that Mr. Thomas wanted to talk to us about the proceeding lawsuit that we have. So I'm going to let him go first because that may affect some of the things that I'm going to say or want to talk to you about. So, Mr. Jeremy, I'll let you say what you wish to say, and we'll proceed from there.
Okay, I was going to let y'all know, number one, the arbitration suit has started. We filed. He emailed me he's Dave Nickel, the attorney out of Ohio, emailed me the final complaint. We've been working on it for a little while, about a week and a half ago or so, and I approved it and signed for Mississippi County, and it's been filed now, and a preliminary hearing has been set. They said that most people will be participating by phone, but it's November the 17th, and that is to talk about what kind of qualifications we're going to want from the arbitrators. There'll be a panel of 3 most likely, and what the location is going to be, and it's looking more and more like that's going to be somewhere in Arkansas, probably Little Rock. And so basically the plaintiffs are, it's Clay County, Crittenden County, Cross County, Hot Spring County, Jefferson County, Lawrence County, Mississippi County, and there's a private entity, Synergy HR LLC. And we're all filing the suit together and sharing in the expenses of the suit. I believe maybe the judges told y'all our share of the initial filing fee is like $1,800 or something like that, which is not, it could be a lot worse if we were doing it on our own. But anyway, that's moving forward, finally. And I don't know I will know more on November 17th, what kind of schedule we're talking about, actually moving forward with a final hearing and, how long that's going to be. I have signed on basically as the local, like the Arkansas Council, not to represent, I'm only representing Mississippi County, because the other Arkansas counties have, I guess either they don't have a county attorney or the county attorney hadn't really been involved, and so he wanted me to do that. But he hired another lawyer out of Ohio to represent the other counties in Arkansas, and I'll be representing Mississippi County. Anyway, I've got copies of this stuff for you guys. Now, the top one is the actual.
I can pass it down.
I got them here. There's 3 things. I got more. The top one is the actual complaint. It's been filed. It's not, this isn't the signed one with the file mark on it, but it has been filed. But this is it. Then the second thing, it's a draft attorney-client agreement. What he did, what the attorney in Ohio that is representing the other Arkansas counties, the basis that he's agreed to represent them on is like a percentage basis, but it's not a percentage of it's only a percentage of what's paid over and above the actual claims themselves, so that every claim gets paid 100%. I guess the way that more would be paid over and above the actual claims would be either if the judge awards attorney's fees, or if there's somehow some punitive damages of some sort, or there's like a statutory 12% penalty in Arkansas that the panel could stick them with, or it's possible that, let's say, ours are approximately $700,000 in outstanding claims. If if it's 700,000 is awarded and everything's paid, and the underwriting, it's the UN, no, it's not UME. The group, the middle company the management company that Mr. Nickel represents, if they're able to negotiate those claims down from 700,000 to 600,000 or something like that after the money gets here, then there will be extra money. And so it will be a percentage considering that. And so nothing would come out of those counties' pockets. He emailed me, Mr. Nickel emailed me what the agreement was with this guy for the other counties, and recommended I do the same with you guys. Basically the same agreement. And so you'll see the email that he emailed me, which has got their agreement in it. And I did one kind of based on the one I normally use, and then I incorporated that in it. The only difference between mine and theirs is I used a couple of different examples of how the fee would work. The percent, I mean the percentage and all the fee, it all works the same. I just gave a couple other examples to show how it would work. And I think maybe spells it out a little more clear. Just, but it's basically it's a third, but it's only a third after the claims get paid. And that way, like with the Brandon Bryan situation, I had to send hourly bills over that the county had to actually allocate money to pay out of county funds, and that wouldn't be the case here. It would be a percentage of whatever's actually collected. And it'd be basically a risk on my part. I could work and we not collect anything over and above the claims, and I don't know when get paid, but if we did get a significant amount over and above the claims, I could actually make some pretty decent money out of it. I don't know. But that's what I wanted to bring in front of y'all, kind of give you an update, number one, and then number two. I can't, under the ethical rules, I can't represent somebody on a percentage basis without a written contract, so I had to do something in writing.
Let me ask you, go ahead. There was something on my mind, and you may have answered it. So, does any of the other members have a question?
Jeremy, what happens if during the negotiations, the arbitrators or someone, or they agree to a settlement of, let's say, $500,000? What happens then as far as attorney's fees? The judge usually award them, or?
It wouldn't come out of, no matter what, it wouldn't come out of the claims. So it's kind of like that Brandon Bryan situation where we kind of left it up to the judge to decide that part. That could happen. Let the arbitrators decide that, or we could come to an agreed amount of attorney's fees with them to pay over and above the $500,000. Or I don't think we would settle for $500,000 if we didn't know it was going to pay all the claims. Right. But we just have to work that out. But
are you talking about 500 for each county or total? 500?
We're in it for 700, whatever our number is, around 700,000 for Mississippi County. Okay. There are a few counties, like Crittenden County is actually a little higher than ours. There are a few that are.
Jefferson.
Yeah.
How did we come up with that figure?
That is something that the Dave Nichols client came up with. I mean, they've got all the information on all those claims, and they came up with that.
Okay, all right, okay. Yeah. So that's not anything we figured ourselves?
No.
Will this be finished by Thanksgiving, you think?
No, I don't.
Will this be finished by Christmas, you think?
I doubt it.
What about the people getting the calls and threatening?
I mean, I've tried, like I saw the letter that Neil's got there that, I put it on my letterhead. I did it, for them to just sign with it. It wasn't on letterhead, now I put it on my letterhead. And we've been, people have been sending it out, but it hadn't been, the doctors don't have to abide by it or anything. That's just something I was hoping would maybe get them to hold off a little bit, and I don't think we've had much luck with that.
Well, I have one that does. I didn't know I had a bill of $8,000 until I asked about it because they kept showing a credit. They said, well, your insurance is pending. But they're real good. They're not gonna mess my credit up or anything
Right.
like that. Because they said your eyes are more important than the money. So that, you know, the doctor's got me for life for that reason. But the people that are getting their credit messed up.
I know, and it's,
What are we gonna do about that later on after the settlement? Are we gonna try to get that expunged off their records or?
I mean, it would have to be up to each individual employee to do that. I don't know how we would do it on a mass basis. I really don't.
Once those claims have been turned over to collections, and we do receive the money, how does that work? Will you actually be able to go and pay them then?
You would have to, at that point, you know, it's been turned over to a collection agency, you'd pay the agency at that point.
So what about and the fees built into that? Okay, right,
If
okay.
you know, let's say, yeah, if you owe $1,000, the doctor's office turns it over to the collection agency. The collection agency collects it, they'll probably keep 40% and send the doctor 60 or something.
Honestly, I mean, it would behoove the doctor's office or the hospital to keep it and not turn it to collection and see what happens.
It would be, that would make more sense because they're not paying a
The
collector.
fee, right,
That's
okay.
And it's the collection agencies who turn it over on people's credit, it's not the doctor's offices.
Let me ask you another question. Since you're an attorney, you should know the answer to this. I'm gonna put you on the spot before I ever ask you the question. What if, let's just say that this county's employees are $1 million is what they owe cumulative. What if the county would escrow that money and notify these people that are sending them collection letters, and over your letterhead, you tell them that the money to pay their claim has been escrowed with XYZ Bank? Would that, you think, stop the collection letters if they knew that their money was escrowed and whatever Gerber didn't pay, the county would pay the rest of it? Now, I think that before, even if you think that's a decent idea, we'd have to get finance's approval, the court finance approval to do it. But the real estate works that way. We escrow money daily
Yeah.
for certain things. Houses that need repairs, roofs that needs to be put on a house, we escrow the money
Right.
to make sure that the contractor gets paid when he finishes work, regardless of who does what. He's gonna get his money.
Right.
Did I give you enough information to answer the question?
Yeah, and it's gonna be up to the individual doctor's offices on whether they're willing to accept that or not. The one thing is the county would have to be willing to, you know, let's say we go into arbitration and lose somehow, the odds of that have got to be slim to none. I mean, goodness gracious, with what all's happened, but the county would have to be willing and ready and willing and able to make good on that if, you know, if something happens to pay all those claims, would be
Well,
number one.
We are able, we have
Yeah.
enough money in CDs to do it.
Yeah.
Now, whether we're willing or not, that would take another committee
Right.
to authorize it, but
In my mind, if I were a doctor, and it is up to the individual doctors, they can either accept that or not. If I were a doctor and I knew the money was there, I think it would make a difference in my decision on whether to turn it over to collections.
I do too. I think that would be a big factor in telling the collection agency, continue trying to squeeze them or stop. They're gonna pay us one way or the other. Because the hospital's gonna get all of their money instead of 60%, and the collection agency get 40%. The hospital's gonna get it all.
Yeah.
Kinda like that commercial on TV, senior life insurance, you know, you're gonna get it all.
Yeah.
How does that help the employees too, to feel better.
Well, you know, I hate to keep doing this, but we've got one in this room that's really being squeezed, of no fault of his or her own. And I think this would get that person some relief.
Yeah.
Would it not?
I would hope, I would hope that the doctors would see it that way. They don't have to,
I understand.
yeah, but I would surely think, knowing that the money's there, and if they're getting paid one way or the other. If we win the lawsuit, then they're getting paid by the insurance company. If we lose the lawsuit, they're getting paid by the county. If they know it's happening one way or the other, if I were the doctor's office, I would wait before I turned it over and gave up a percentage of my money.
It'd be like income to them, getting all of the 100% instead of
Right.
a lesser amount.
I mean, if that's something that we're willing to do, then why wouldn't we just go ahead and pay the claims and then just reimburse the county? once
Because
the
we
loss-
wouldn't get that back.
Yeah, no, can it come back to the county?
Yeah, I'll check with Dave to make sure, but look, if the county has to pay that because the insurance company is not, then yeah, I mean, the money, instead of going to the doctor's offices when we get it, will go back to the county.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way it should happen.
I don't think so. I don't think that if this person paid the 100,000 plus that they owe, and Gerber's comes in and pays who owes what, I don't think that the county or the person's gonna get that 100,000.
You don't, so you're thinking if that'd be something that I would want us to look into.
Yeah.
I mean, you see, I mean,
No,
you
my
go through
understanding,
all that.
I've already talked to him about, okay, what happens to the employee who, let's say they get a bill for $500, and they don't want it on their credit. You know, it's one thing when it's $20,000, but it's another if it's $500 or something like that. And they say, well, you know what, I'll pay the $500, keep it off my credit and get this off my, just get them off my case. Are they gonna get their money back? And the answer is yes. The answer to that is yes, and I would think that the same would go for the county, if the county does the same thing.
Right, I'm just saying, if the county's prepared to do that and makes that agreement, then, and like Jeremy said, there's no guarantee, even with, if we put it into escrow, that would work for everybody. It would seem to just go ahead and pay the claims.
Throw it out.
But, yeah, and I don't know, there may, the one downside to that may be that, let's say, the county goes ahead and pays the claims at 100%. If, say, we're given $700,000 and this management company is able to reduce them down to $400,000, that may be $300,000 that the county would have sitting there available. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And because the county would get the money, $700,000, then they were negotiated down to $400,000. That's $300,000 in the county's pocket. And
Gotcha.
That would.
Okay. So better to not.
I mean, that's just.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay.
I think the escrow is much better than the county paying any type of money. Anybody else got any questions from Jeremy?
But Jeremy, I'm not on the committee, I'm sorry, but Jeremy probably needs to know, I guess that'll have to go before the court. He needs to know if county is willing to enter into an agreement for him to represent the county on a contingency basis.
The insurance committee can't approve that, but it needs to go through committee, and that's why I brought it here first.
You think this committee can do that, or does?
I don't think this committee.
I think
I'm not even on the committee.
What I'm thinking is I was thinking is the insurance committee looks at it, then the finance committee looks at it, and then it goes.
I think it'll take the full court.
Right,
Down the full point.
right. But it probably needs to pass both committees first, since it's,
Is that what you would like for us to do, is to move it on from here?
yeah, just move it on to finance, I guess.
Yes, that's, in my opinion, that's what I would do, and since I'm chair, that's what I would move it to them before it went to the court.
And again, I'm not on the committee, but just picking up, I think the idea of the county some way notifying that the county has this money in escrow or ever how it wants to be handled would help take some of the pressure off of the employees. I would think a letter stating that to these people. If, again, if the court decides to do that.
And that, you know, that could be something I could, if that were to be done, if the court approves that, you know, I could add it to that letter that it's also been put in escrow, and have something from the county showing that it's in escrow to attach to that letter, maybe to send out. Something like that. Maybe. Just thinking out loud.
Yeah, something where the employees could have some, I know they've done this once, but if, it makes a difference if you have someone out there that's basically guaranteeing it one way or the other.
Sure.
But that takes away your negotiating power, doesn't it? As far as negotiating the bills down?
I don't think it would, and I don't think we need to do it until I talk to Dave Nickel and make sure it's not gonna get in his way somehow.
Yeah.
I do need to do that, for sure.
Finance meets Monday.
Okay, I'll talk to him before then.
And then the 24th.
Is there-
If you
is
did
Betty
it
gone?
right,
You and
yes,
I are
everybody's
only
okay.
two, so.
Yeah.
This month.
I'll talk to Dave, I'll call Dave this afternoon and see what he says.
Okay.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to do anything to jeopardize his case.
Uh-uh.
I'll make a motion that we, send this on to finance, the attorney-client agreement.
Second. So, what, are we gonna do this in two different things, Jeremy, or do you want them to, we can lock them together?
What do you mean, the agreement and the escrow
Yeah.
issue? I'd say they're separate.
Do your percentage, pay and the, escrow, can we just,
I think they're separate ideas, I mean,
Okay.
separate issues.
okay, let's separate them. Let's vote on this one first, and then we'll do the, which one did you do?
I did the agreement.
Okay, she's doing the motion she made was are you up over there, Madam Secretary? She did the agreement on the,
The attorney-client
I got it.
agreement. Yeah.
okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so the next motion would be to do the escrow and Justice Jackson.
To move, yes, I'll make a motion that the committee move to, and that would move on to finance as well, to look at the options of putting the money into an escrow account to send out a new letter, for the unpaid claims.
Beautifully done. Second.
That's depending on
comments?
what Jeremy.
Yeah,
sorry.
right, what Jeremy finds out.
Any comments about that, Jeremy? You think that's okay?
I'll call Dave today. If I don't get it today, I'll talk to him tomorrow before the finance committee meeting and see what he has to say.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. One other thing before we leave and we have another committee meeting. Some of the JPs have discussed this letter that you did to hand sign, about 8 or 10 of them,
Yeah, I can do that.
In blue.
so that the blue ink or something would show that it's not just a copied letter.
Yep, I
And we'd
can.
like to request that you do that and
Yeah.
let Cindy have them and let her, if she needs them, or do you want people to get them from you?
It doesn't matter. I can have them sitting in my office if they want to come by and pick them up. It doesn't make me any difference.
What are you doing now?
Taking notes. With the
I'm
letters,
taking notes.
Yeah, I'll take mine
if
now.
they want the letters, I've got extra copies in the office,
Okay,
just like
do you
that.
think it would be better to go by his office and get them, or come to you and get them?
Whichever's more convenient for them, it doesn't matter.
I just love all this positivity that we're going through.
I take
I can have some sitting in my office and she
Just-
can have some in her office and they can get them in place.
Just have Jeremy sign those few you've got, and then if they want to come by the office,
Thanks,
get them.
Sam.
Oh, yeah, that's several there.
Any other comments or questions from the insurance committee?
Did we,
Go ahead.
are we supposed to talk about the proposal, the insurance of this coming year? Or is that just in finance?
Talk some more.
About the $800 capping it at 800 and then dividing the additional expense? Is
You mean
that,
how much the JPs get back?
I
no,
think that's in timing.
okay,
That's what was discussed.
okay. You're right, it didn't move out of there, you're right, it didn't.
Is that it, Jeremy, that we need to accommodate to make your business easier?
Yeah, the date on these are all October 15th, but, I'm sorry. So, I mean, I could, trying to think of how to do this. Now, like I said, they're welcome to come by my office, but if they're in Blytheville, they might not want to drive all the way to Ellisville to my office to get them. I don't know how to change I'll tell you what I could do, Cindy, is I could, well, see, I couldn't pre-sign them though. I guess I could leave the date,
Would the date matter?
could just leave the date off.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Yeah. And I can sign a bunch and bring
I'll
them
come
to you.
by the office and pick them up.
I was gonna be in court tomorrow and I could just bring them by then, but I don't think I am now.
I can bring by the office when they're ready. You just let me know and I can
Yeah,
pick them up.
I can sign, 50 of them or something, just in case.
Okay.
Have we concluded all the business we had before the insurance committee? We stand adjourned.